Morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, September 1st, 2015. This is a regular meeting of the Los Angeles Board of Police Commissioners. Before we take the roll, two issues. Number one is there will be no meeting on Tuesday, September 8th, 2015. The next meeting of the Los Angeles Board of Police Commissioners will be September 15th, 2015. Mr. Executive, second item, Mr. Executive Director, we have both agreed that we're going to remove item 6A from the agenda today for additional review and examination, and I would like you to explain briefly.
Commissioner,
Yes,
that would
Mr.
be
President.
5A.
It's 5A
Oh,
on
it's
the
5A,
agenda.
I'm sorry.
Yes, Mr. President. We received yesterday morning a letter from the American Civil Liberties Union expressing some concerns and providing some case law that they would ask that we, as a commission and the city attorney's office, review. That process has taken place, and the city attorney has recommended that we further study those issues and either bring back the document that is before you now or a revised document for the meeting of September 15th, which is the recommendation to the commission.
Okay, so that item is now, item 5A is no longer on the agenda. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Thank you. Good morning. Let the record reflect Commissioner Sobroff, Figueroa Villa, and Kim are present, and we have a quorum. Number one on the agenda, election of officers. This item has been continued. Number two on the agenda.
Let me just make one comment on that. The charter requires that the president and the vice president of the police commission serve no longer than a 2-year period. That 2-year period is over, will be over just around the next meeting, so we will have a new election of officers, of president and vice president at that date. It does not involve any change in the members of the commission, but it does involve election of officers. That will happen. Next.
Item number two of the agenda, commission comments.
No comments.
Okay, we do have two comment cards. We have Mr. Herman and Wayne.
The second speaker, will you stand behind him, so, because I'm going to start the clock right after he's
Mr.
finished.
Sovarov, good morning. I'm Mr. B for introduction. Good morning.
Now, Mr. Sovarov, as you well know that actually this has to do with Mr. Chief Beck. I believe Mr. Paul Koretz is creating a hostile environment in City Hall, saying that he's going to bring the Jews against the people. I find that very offensive and defensive because he finds that the hoodies, are offensive. What do you think, Mr. B?
Very offensive. I don't think so.
So, under the expression of speech, under the sarcasm of speech, under 54950.3.c, I don't believe that either one of us are incorrect. I'm hoping in the future that the actions of the police, sergeant of arms, don't take hostility towards the public. Right, Mr. V?
Yes, no.
And so, again, you know, we try to keep it PG-13, but on occasion, Mr. Chief, it's impossible. It's very impossible when you're degraded to 30 seconds in agenda items, violation of the city charter and the Brown Act. Give us 2 minutes. Give us 2 minutes and we can delegate our position there. If not, you're sacrificing political speech to a formula that's unconstitutional.
Very unconstitutional.
So you see, Mr. B and I, we know what we're talking about. Stop sacrificing political speech. Help us to endure and grow in peace and love, as brought out by Mr. B at City Hall in regards to Mr. Paul Koretz's action against Mr. Spender Wayne, saying that he's going to take him to France along with Herb Wesson.
Next.
Wayne, followed by Ted Hayes.
That's right. It's come down to this now. Gotta wear a fucking hood now. It's come down to this because this is the LA chapter of the Klan, better known as the Police Commission. Right now, they're over there on the 10th floor at City Hall. Good news, Mr. Soboroff, you're getting a new Uncle Tom. Right over there, they got a brand new Uncle Tom. They're bringing him from the Harbor Commission or from the Airport Commission. So he's already been corrupted. He's already been dipped in white paint and scrubbed completely of his black. So now he's got no more black. He talk white. He talk all good. He know which fork goes in the salad bowl. And he's ready to sit here next to you and shoot more of his former race. Because now he joined the white race like the other three Aunt Thomasinas over there. That includes all of you that think that you're going to send sergeants over to City Hall meetings. That's what you do, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then the biggest Uncle Tom, he's been elevated to a slave owner, Herb Wesson Jr., the president of the fucking Los Angeles City Hall scumbag fucking commission and city council. He limits us to 1 minute of public comment. The minute you open your mouth, even without a hood, he says, stay on the topic. And then you go, stay on the topic. And then you go, stay on the topic. And then he goes, sergeants. And the sergeants come over in LAPD badges, grab me, grab other speakers. Now, the only reason that they don't grab the other speakers is because they get down and they suck his prick. That's why. So if you don't suck his cock, you get thrown out of the meeting and get 20 seconds to speak. So, Herb Wesson, fuck you, and get the police out of the city council meetings.
Ted Hayes.
You want to follow that garbage?
Last week I mentioned that sometimes people will come here, they will clown you. I think you know what that looks like now. And they will pull your chain. But do you melt down? Do you resist it? Now, I'm pleased you took 5A off the agenda for further consideration. I'm certain you have very competent counsel right there, and he can address the things that the Attorney General of the State of California said about censorship. Understand, only government can censor. Now, the Brown Act says that in any event, any meeting is willfully interrupted by a group or groups of persons who so to render orderly conduct of such meeting unfeasible, and order cannot be restored.
No more comments on this item. It's closed.
By removal of
And you can, if
By removal
people in the
of
audience want to speak out, you can remove them right now, might as well save the time. So you got a
Right.
choice, either be quiet or leave.
by removal of individuals who are willfully interrupting the meeting. In other words, you simply have to do the task of pulling out the bad guys, bad persons, bad women, and putting them out. But you can't take the press out. The press has to remain here. And then you can readmit those people who are not causing a disturbance. But I don't believe it would be sensible to try to create new rules and regulations for decorum. Understand slander, no longer a crime in this state. Libel, we don't know about that. So when people begin to express themselves to persons like yourselves who are public figures, you do realize that. There's a lot of liberty one can take when saying something about a public figure. So we'll look into 5A. I hope we can wrestle with it and deal with it. But we cannot punish everyone for the disturbances created by only a few. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes. Next item.
Item number 3, the report of the Chief of Police, Chief Beck.
Morning, Chief.
Good morning, Commissioners. Before I begin my lengthy or detailed discussion of crime, I want to discuss an article that was in the New York Times today. The New York Times discussed the rise in homicides nationally and looked for reasons around it. They listed Los Angeles as one of the exceptions to that rise, and that was true in July. However, following August, we have seen an increase year-to-date in homicides, and that was caused by 39 homicides that occurred in the month of August in the city of Los Angeles. I wanted to give the commission a breakdown of those so that you can put it in some kind of context, as can the public, to see what is happening in the city of Los Angeles. Of the 39 homicides that we had in August, 17 occurred in South Bureau, 10 in Central Bureau, 6 in Valley Bureau, and 6 in West Bureau. Of those 39 total homicides, 76% occurred by firearm. Only 2 of them involved a cutting instrument. The majority of the homicides have been gang-related. The gang-related homicides that have been documented and where we know the suspect's race have all been within racial boundaries. In other words, there's no black versus Hispanic, black versus Asian, black versus white, black Hispanic versus white. Homicides included in that. Of those 39 homicides, 7 have resulted in immediate arrest. We're running about a 61% clearance rate overall for the city for the year, so we anticipate more of the homicides in August will be solved as we move forward. Of particular note, in the homicides in South Bureau, of the 17 homicides that occurred in South Bureau, 14 were gang-related. This is exactly what we've talked about, an increase in gang crime, particularly in South and Central Bureau. One of the things that has been different about the victimology that we've seen during this increase, particularly in August, is an increased average in age. In other words, our victims average 38 years of age, and our known suspects average 30 years of age. This is very different than what we have seen in the past, where our general average age of a homicide victim is mid-20s. So, you can't draw huge conclusions over 1 month. The city had seen a decline in homicides through July, but the month of August hopefully does not portend what will occur during the following months of the year. Very, very difficult month for the city of Los Angeles, very difficult month for the police department. It wasn't only homicides that increased, but we had weeks where our Part 1 crime average was over 2,500. Normally, we average about 2,000 Part 1 crimes a week. So, tough month. Los Angeles Police Department responded by moving resources, by deploying our discretionary resources. I'm going to meet with the commands involved today after the Police Commission meeting, and we may make some adjustments in the amount of command level staffing for nighttime hours, the primary time when many of these assaults and shootings have occurred. So I wanted the commission to be able to put that, what's going on in Los Angeles, in some kind of perspective, and also recognize that it is part of a national trend that is just being commented on by the national media. Overall crime in Los Angeles stands at a 12.8 Part 1 crime increase over 2014 and a 9.7 increase over 13. Violent crime is at a 20.3 increase over 14. Property crime at 11%. Gang crime overall, a 15.3% increase. Traffic collisions, we still see an increase in traffic collisions in the city of Los Angeles, 11.2% increase over last year, but we have seen a reduction in serious traffic accidents and a 5.7% reduction in serious injury and fatal traffic collisions. Motor vehicle versus pedestrian, up slightly. We worry about this category because it is such a deadly category. We've suffered 47 deaths because of motor vehicle versus pedestrian accidents so far this year. But the positive news in that is those serious accidents, the ones that involve injury or death, are down almost 10%. We have 9,889 sworn personnel on payroll. We graduate a class of the academy this Friday, so that will add to the deployment on the street. Civilian personnel staffing stands at 2,674. That's 603 civilian vacancies. We are still woefully behind in our hiring of civilians. We have over 400 level 1, 2, and 3 reserve officers, 372 specialist volunteers, 61 chaplains, and 6,567 young men and women in our cadet program. And that concludes my report.
Chief, with the rollout of the on-body cameras in the mission division yesterday, do we have the ability to track the number of officer-related complaints and number of uses of force when these cameras are division-wide, really on a weekly basis? And will we be able to keep up with those statistics as the program rolls out to compare with other communities that have been using the cameras?
We can definitely do that. That is part of the statistics that we will look at to determine the efficacy of the program. I would recommend we wait about a month to get a significant
Sure.
number of contacts so that we can make a meaningful measurement. And what we can do is provide data to the commission, if you so desire, in my weekly reports, relative to what mission sees in comparison to their prior year.
Yeah.
In other
I think
words,
that'd be great.
that way it's apples to apples.
Good, thanks. Okay, other questions?
We do have 3 comment cards.
Okay, and the time for submission of additional comment cards on this item is over, so we'll take those 3.
Mr. Herman, Prentice Jenkins, and Wayne.
Who's ever closest to the microphone? Mr. Jenkins, will you begin, sir? You're closest. Try and save some time. Mr. Jenkins, you want to speak, please?
Prentice Jenkins, activist since 1991, City Life newsletter publisher. Welcome back, Chief. I'd like to play a video. I'd like to also acknowledge Black Lives Matter and stop LAPD spying.
Take place on Monday at Mission Station in the San Fernando Valley. Then officers at Newton and then at Central Division will be trained and equipped with them apparently sometime in September. This is the first part of the rollout.
Addressing the
That's
commission or the
hardware,
audience?
But the other issue, as you
Are
pointed
you
out,
addressing
is who
the
will see
commission
video
or the
captured by
audience?
cameras.
Because I can't see your video.
Prentice Jenkins says he does not believe in the
Oh, I see you on
benefits of the
TV
new
there.
police technology, but not if it remains secret.
Yeah, with Conan.
If you're not going to allow the public to see it. Well, the LAPD is slowly rolling out body cameras for officers in the field. Today, another challenge to the policy on who will see the video. The department says, like other evidence, only in rare occasions will the pictures be released to the public.
We do not disclose in-car video, on-body camera video, surveillance video that is part of an investigative record.
For me, that undermines the significant effort going on here. Police Commissioner Robert Saltzman and the ACLU also took issue with the policy allowing officers to review body camera video before making a statement about an incident.
If they are shown the video of an incident before they're required to make a statement about it, can shape their story in a way that's consistent with the video. And allowing that opportunity doesn't increase public trust in investigations.
I represent 10,000 police officers. I want to ensure that this policy is fair.
But the police union defended the policy, saying ultimately the video is designed to correctly detail what happened. Not easy in a chaotic episode such as a police shooting.
Next,
Mr. Herman.
start the clock.
Mr. Soboroff, good morning. I'd like to remind you that hoodies,
Are you addressing me or the chief of police?
well, you said to address you, but yeah. Mr. Chief Beck, I'd like to remind you that Black lives do matter, and that I brought my friend Mr. B in here to set an example for all of us that he and I advocate on behalf of Black Lives Matter and all life matters, because here in one of your resources called Veterans, it does state that a person who suffers a traumatic brain injury, TBI, is physically challenged, and the change in their brain causes them to have abnormal, Mr. Beck. So again, the effect of a TBI can be temporary or permanent brain damage. And not to say that all persons with a disability have this sort of disorder that we have to take them out and tell them, Mr. B, and kill them by beating them up and shooting them. No, we shouldn't do that, right, Mr. B?
No, because all lives matter in Los Angeles, the city of angels.
Well, thank you, Mr. B. We have to educate the public here because most of the time, as Paul Koretz pointed out, that he was going to call the Jewish clergy on us to tell the police that we're behaving inappropriately at council meetings wearing our hoodies. But that's not the case. So let Chief Beck know that,
Please, Mr. Chief Beck, don't shoot us kids or our family members who look like criminals when we're not. We just like wearing hoodies like this, see? And they're just signs, just little emblems. You know, like Mr. Herman, see, he's wearing, look what he got on his face. It's called NWA. 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 Okay, slow down. Whew.
So that's the point, Chief Beck. Take our criticism, not personally, but reflect it on your mission.
Next.
Deployment of sergeants at arms, waste of fucking time at the LA City Council meetings and commission meetings. Councilman Paul Koretz officially sunk the rabbis in the Jewish communities on a public speaker just because he wears a hood, like you guys do at home. Now, you guys, when you get home, you put on your white sheets and your hoods, and you look just like me right now. But when you go out to your cars in public, you put on those business suits and your little dresses and your makeup and shit, and then you walk around and go,
Hi, I'm Steve Soboroff. I'm a billionaire developer.
Stay on topic or we'll
Then-
end your speech.
well,
You're supposed to be addressing the chief.
Yes.
Okay, Police Chief Charlie Beck, you work for a piece of shit, Charlie Beck. You're a train wreck. Woo-hoo! You're going down. You're going down. You're out there on Figueroa by Staples Center with 3 brand new police bikes and cops doing what? Holding a little meter there to find people going 37 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone. And then they pull over people. Woo, 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 woo. Instead, it should say, hooty hoo! We're balancing the LA City's budget on your ass. Here's your ticket, bitch. And it would be much better. Now, I was driving there. They pulled me over, and I put on my hood. They gave me a fix-it ticket, $25 fix-it ticket because I had my hood. I put my hood on, and they said, oh, wait a minute. Let me turn my camera off. Why, you one of us. I'm sorry, sir. I'm going to give you a fix-it ticket. I'm sorry, you weren't speeding. I'm just going to give you a fix-it ticket because you one of us. You one of the bros in the hoodie-hoo!
We're now on item number 4, consent agenda items. These items are considered to be routine and uncontroversial, upon which the board is provided with adequate information for approval without inquiry or discussion. We do have comment cards on 4A and 4B. Would a commissioner wish to pull an item as special 4C through 4J?
No, I'll move approval with thanks to the donors. Do we have a second? All in favor?
Okay. We begin with 4A, Executive Director's Report dated July 21st, 2015, relative to the approval of a firearms ammunition sales police permit for Juan Carlos A. Ramirez. And the comment cards are from Mr. Herman and Wayne.
Comment
Mr. Herman and Wayne.
period closed. The clock started. Go ahead. In fact, the clock's starting on both of you because you're both speaking at this or doing whatever you're doing at the same time. Go ahead.
Mr. Soboroff, we waive our time. Thank you, Mr. Commissioner, and have a great afternoon, Mr. B and Mr. H.
Herman's back.
Oh, look what we have here. We have a firearm ammunition sale police permit for Juan Carlos Ramirez to sell guns and ammunition. For what? For a Latino? Wait a minute, that violates the hooty-hoo policy. You can't have guns and police firearm sales permits in the hands of non-whites. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, Charlie Beck? Does he wear a hood? Does Juan Carlos Ramirez put on his hood at night? Of course he doesn't. You can't give him a permit. Firearm and sales, a police permit for firearm and ammunition sales? Did you clear that with the city council and the slave owner, Herb Wesson? No! So you did not clear it with him. And I asked Mr. B over there in the audience, and he said,
Juan Carlos does not have a right to sell guns, and he gonna do shit.
that's what he said. So, you know, I'm just trying to get the facts straight. Why you're giving out a permit to sell firearms? The Second Amendment does not apply to the city of Los Angeles. The city of Los Angeles is not in the United States. It's in the Fourth Reich. That's what it is. We're in a Nazi state. Do we have a right to bear arms? Shit, I don't have a right to bear arms.
Okay, and I apologize, I failed to call one more comment card. Mr. Kai Utsami? Kai?
Okay, let's move to the next.
He's right there, sir.
Oh, here it comes. Sorry, sir.
This police commission, although it's multi-ethnic, it's not community-based. It's top-down repression. The members are all part of the more affluent community, and they choose to be segregated from the poor community. They are against everything Martin Luther King stood for and died
Mr. President,
for.
the speaker's off topic.
And they are especially segregated
Sir, will you stay on the topic of item number 4A, please?
They are especially segregated from the black homeless community, the most poor people. Why are you so against the poor people, and especially when they're black? And why do you want to keep criminalizing them? This commission is complicit in criminalizing the black homeless people, you know? And their homelessness is not caused by their own situation. It's caused by outside forces. Another affluent person, Mayor Garcetti, selects the member. We need a radical change in how this commission is picked. We need genuine criticism of the LAPD, not complicit with and shaking their hand. We need grassroots activists to be on the commission in a majority. And to start with,
Next.
We have no other comment cards?
Sir, your time's over. Thank you.
Achilles Sherrill.
We have no.
We have a motion for approval of item number 4A. Second? All in favor? Aye. Okay.
We're on 4B, Department's Report dated August 25th, 2015, relative to the donation of 2 Dell printers valued at $1,000 from the Los Angeles County Regional Identification System for the benefit of Jail Division, and we have Mr. Herman.
Time period is closed. Mr. Herman, you going to speak or no?
He's not here.
Okay, so let's
here?
move,
Okay.
let's go on. I'll move approval of the item 4B.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Thank you. We're now on item number 5, regular agenda items. Item 5A was pulled from the agenda, and we have comment cards on 5B.
Okay. Comment cards on 5B. Item 5B is closed. How many comment cards do you have on B?
Okay. 5B, Department's report dated August 27, 2015, relative to the supplemental police account second quarterly report, April through June 2015. And we have Prentice Jenkins, Kai Utsumi,
That's it?
and that's it.
Okay, period closed. Gentlemen? Mr. Jenkins?
Prentice Jenkins, activist since 1991, publisher of City Life newsletter. Like to acknowledge Black Lives Matter back here. Stop LAPD spying. I'd like to know if the account, the supplemental police account, has accounted for the murder of Ezell Ford by gay cops who just want to jump out and grab his junk. I want to know if they've given an account for that. I want to know if once they've given an account, is Jackie Lacey going to prosecute those two cops? I know what Ezell Ford went through.
Mr. President, the speaker's off topic.
Yeah, stay on topic, you know.
I'm dealing with supplemental police account. I'm giving an account. This is talking about police accounts. This is what this is.
Mr. Jenkins, could I help you a moment, sir? This is about monies that are in an account. That's what it's speaking to.
But you folks need to put that down here. It just says
It is down
supplemental
there, sir.
accounts.
It is down there. If you read the agenda item, is down there. And the agenda materials are in the back of the room for you to read
Okay.
prior to the meeting and also posted online.
Okay, so
Keep going.
can we put another 20 seconds on here? Thank you.
No, but keep going.
Okay, now the supplemental account, are we using supplemental monies? And when you're using supplemental monies to help crazy cops kill innocent people, is that what we're using this supplemental money for? Crazy cops killed Ezell Ford. Are you using this money to pay crazy cops to kill innocent people? Ezell Ford was walking down the street when they jumped out of a car and tackled him like they were on the LA Raiders. They had no reason to do that. Are you using this money to hire crazy cops? I told you, 90% of your cops are good, 10% are crazy. Absolutely out of their minds, psychotic. Ezell Ford ran into him, or they ran into him, and he's dead. And Ezell Ford did nothing. And they keep saying, well, he was around gang members. I noticed one thing. They didn't go over there and harass
Mr.
those
President,
gang members. They
speaker's off
just
topic.
harassed Ezell Ford.
He knows.
Why did they do that?
Why are you off topic?
Not anymore.
Kai Utsumi.
Move to approve.
Okay, next.
Move to approve item
Oh, you're fine.
This commission, while having public comments, allowing public comment, continues to disregard everything that the public says. They continue. You cannot have a democracy without listening to the public and acting on it. A former democratic democracy, Germany, they had the same basic system as we have, and the same kind of economic crisis as today. We have the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression of the 20 and 30. Allowed
Sir, this item is
a
5B.
person like Adolf
Sir?
Hitler
Why don't you
to
stay on
take
topic?
power.
You can come back during public comment. Say whatever you want.
Yeah, you guys, okay, you keep interrupting me to try to destroy my chain of thought, okay? And what are you afraid of? Why don't you listen to what the concept? You know why? Because we represent a vast majority of people out there. And that's what you're afraid of. You want to repress us before the vast majority of the people protest against this whole economic condition that they're in. And you are part of the repression. That's it.
Okay, we have a motion for approval? Second? All in favor? Oh, Sandy, second? Okay. Okay.
Okay, we're now on item number 6, public comment period. We have 16 comment cards. We begin with Mr. Herman, who's not present. Prentice Jenkins, Wayne, who's not present, Jacqueline Richardson, and General Dogan.
Prentice Jenkins, activist since 1991, City Life newsletter publisher. You continue to tell us that body cameras are gonna, that cops are using body cameras now. But we won't get to see the footage, the public won't get to see the footage, and the cop gets to review it before he gets a statement. Now, that reminds me of something called baked goods. It's called a crap pie. And most people don't know what a crap pie is. What the police commission does and the police department does is they squat, take a pie pan, squat, and take a dump in the pie pan. Then they take some dough and put it over the crap, put it in the oven, bake it for 30 minutes, take it out, put whipped cream on it, put a cherry on it, take a slice and feed it to the public and say, here, this is a chocolate pie, eat it. I said, wait a minute, that's not a chocolate pie. Understand one thing, I consume chocolate pie. I love chocolate pie. Chocolate pie, I know chocolate pie. Chocolate pie was a friend of mine. And trust me, that is no chocolate pie. It don't smell like no chocolate pie. So that's what you're continuing to tell us. You're telling us that the police commission, police protectively comes in here and says, trust me, this is fair. This is a fair policy. This is the Police Protective League. The man who runs that is Craig Lowley. He was considered one of the worst 40 cops from the police commission. 40 cops and 9,000 cops, he's the worst cop. He's the head of the Police Protection League. So when you tell us that we're not going to get to view the camera, when you tell us that Ezell Ford was murdered because he was a gang member, that's a shit pie.
Jacqueline Richardson.
Excuse me. Last week I saw incidents concerning white boys trying to impregnate white girls. That was a good week. But I did see a few white girls who looked like they just arrived in the city, who were about 23 years of age or under. These were nice girls, but not as nice as the white girls who are already here. Okay. This problem that I'm reiterating or trying to present to you is a problem of being impregnated without being married to white girls and girls of other races. This is a problem. You don't see it walking down the street. You don't see the big bellies. For some reason, you don't see that downtown Los Angeles and other places readily, but it's still a problem and it's hidden. Some of the white men know the reason why these girls are being impregnated, the numbers of the girls being impregnated, and where the men live who are impregnating them. And of course, not all the white men know, but if you would ask some of these white men about this problem, they can tell you where they live, the reason why they're impregnating the girls, where the men live who do this. But if you ask them and they answer you, they need to be protected from harm. They need that protection, and maybe then they will answer your questions and help resolve this problem of girls being impregnated. And it's not good for the girl.
Next, the time for additional speaker cards is closed on this item, but
General Dogan,
finish with
followed
everybody who's got a card in.
by the 5 next speakers, Kai Utsumi, Pete White, Tut Hayes, Shamel Bell, and Melina Abdullah.
Go ahead.
General Dogon, civil rights organizer and Skidwell resident. I've been coming to this police commission for almost about 2 decades now. I said it before, I'm gonna say it again. This is the weakest police commission in the history of Los Angeles, the weakest that I've ever seen. Several times we came in the past, Commissioners John McNair, when they was up here, they listened to the people. We may not did too much about it, but they did listen. Matter of fact, those nice cushion seats down there in LA Can, we came and did a presentation on SCI policing on Skid Row about how it was criminalizing homeless folks. T. Fink, you remember that, you helped set it up. We came in here, you listened to the people. The commission back then listened to the people. You know, this commission right here, you know, I'm gonna say it again, you have failed. You have failed the people, you have failed the people in your job responsibilities. And now, because you have failed us, you know, you want to create all these new rules of the quorum for this room right here. And the only reason why come you doing that is to silence people, because you have lost control. You never gain any control with people. You never develop a relationship with the community. And that's what your job responsibility is. You got 5 stars. The chief got 4. You're supposed to work for the people. You know what I'm saying? Not against the people. And I'm gonna remind you, we're not going nowhere. We're gonna be here and we're gonna hold you responsible, you know, and you're very arrogant, Sorbanoff, you know what I'm saying? So that part right there, we need to lose the attitude and really start kicking back and talking to people. Thank you.
Mr. Hayes?
What would Mayor Garcetti say? Obviously better you than he. You're the surrogate, the buffer between the mayor and these people. And you have to hold that responsibility. He doesn't want these people in front of his home day and night, overnight, camping, so forth and so on. And if this is the outlet where they can come and express themselves, this is where it will happen. Ask the mayor, he'll tell you that. Now, I know you didn't believe you were signing on for this kind of thing, but unfortunately, that's the way things have developed. Now, the Brown Act says that you cannot prohibit criticism of what you do or what you do not do. So every time someone comes here and says something negative, really, there's nothing you can say about it, regardless of what the agenda item speaks of. So once you pride yourself with the Brown Act, you might recognize you're very limited when it comes to the 2 minutes of fame that these people have when they come before the mic. 2 minutes of fame. Can you endure 2 minutes? The other thing is that it says that the Brown Act says the member intends to deprive the public of information which the member knows the public is entitled to. That means whatever they think, I believe. If the public's entitled to know the comments, the thoughts, the notions of people who come here, you can't deprive the public of that information. So when you look at 5A, once again, be very careful about it, because the Brown Act is very, very strong. And that section about depriving the public of information, it makes everyone on the dais guilty of a misdemeanor, a crime.
Thank you, sir.
The new rules against disruptions are very repressive. The disruptions here have been nonviolent. They've been verbally loud, but nonviolent. I like to speak loud because you don't hear. You're all hard of hearing, you know? You know, Martin Luther King said, violence is the voice of the unheard. Those that, but violence today is also caused by LAPD brutality. They create a whole lot of violence. And this commission continues to ignore all of that. You ought to go in one or maybe in pairs, not as police commissioner, but as human beings. And go down there, not just once, not just twice, not just 3 times. Go down there and get to know them. And you will change your whole attitude of the whole media repression against poor, unemployed, and activists. You people are also against activism. That's what we're doing here when we make public comment, and you guys don't give a damn about it.
Hello, I'm Chanel Bell from Black Lives Matter Los Angeles.
Hello.
I'm gonna I just want to speak to our dear sister, Riddell Jones. I really don't want to speak, but I just want to take up 2 minutes to actually, I'm not going to appeal to your humanity because I feel that there isn't any here on this side. But what I do feel is that Riddell Jones was shot in the back while running away from fear of this police department, LAPD. And for my 4-year-old son to ask me if police kill people, he doesn't have the idea that they serve and protect. They don't serve and protect black kids, right? So I just want to talk to you guys about the rules that you have placed upon black people, like I won't talk about the rules. Let's not talk. Let's stay to Riddell. Yes, I have a minute left. I want to talk about the fact that you would shoot her in the back and then leave her there and then not speak to her family for 2 weeks. I want to talk about the pain that black people feel when our sisters, I can barely even address you right now, and I stopped talking because I feel like you don't want to hear our voices, and you've proven that by silencing us in different ways. But I want to speak her name. I want to speak her name, Riddell Jones. 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 We love you, Riddell.
Next.
No, it doesn't hurt, Beck.
Wait, I can't hear. You can start over when they're quiet.
So my name is Melina Abdullah, but you know that. I'm here with Black Lives Matter and with all of these people who are here to say that we don't like the way that you are representing us. You are supposed to be the civilian police commission. You're supposed to represent the public. You're supposed to represent the community. Instead, you treat us as if we're the enemy, right? You're supposed to be here and stand up for people like Riddell Jones, who you didn't even have the decency to report on. You all killed her in our community and didn't even have the decency to report on her. You didn't even have the decency to reach out to her family. Her family has asked that we lift up the fact that it took you 13 days to even notify them. They didn't know she was dead until the 25th of August, and she was killed on the 12th of August. That's inhumane. That's the way that you constantly dehumanize us. I want to talk about these rules of decorum that you're trying to push through, and you're playing games by trying to move it around on the agenda, but we know what you're trying to do. You're calling it rules of decorum. You know who has no decorum? You. You all have no decorum. If you want to talk about respect, you all are constantly disrespectful. I'm looking at Sandra Figueroa right now, who never even bothers to look the people who took time out of their days in the eye. That's so disrespectful. You're so condescending. You're so oppressive and repressive in your approach. How dare you try to silence us? How dare you try to silence us? If we were another community, you would applaud us for being an engaged citizenry, right? But we're black and brown folks in here, so you act like you're under attack. We're the ones surrounded by armed guards, by people with guns who have a history of assassinating our folks. And so I'm going to say you want to smirk. If they came over on your side and killed your son, you wouldn't be smirking, right? And so let me say this. You can move it on the agenda as much as you want. We're going to be here, and we're going to be here as long as it
Pete
takes
White.
for us to get justice.
The next 5 speakers after Pete White, Michael Williams, Daniel Arenato.
I can't hear the other ones. So
The next 5 speakers, Michael Williams, Daniel Arenato, Omar Pai, Pastor Q, Jean Marie, and Hamid Khan.
I'm definitely picking up where my sister left off. So it's clear that your government is working against you when it works harder to silence your voice than it does to stop the murder and the use of force against black people in our community. It's interesting that 5A was removed from the agenda today, that it was on the agenda in the first place, especially in light of the recent federal ruling. It's interesting. They say insanity is doing the same damn thing, expecting different results. That you have a city attorney that's sitting up there advising you on what you could and could not do, but not telling you of the recent federal ruling that found the city of Los Angeles was in violation of rules of civility and decorum. But just because they won't tell you, I will. I'm going to read you a bit of the brief from the federal government on the topic of 5A. It is asking much of city council members who have given themselves to public service to tolerate profanities and personal attacks, but that is what is required by the First Amendment. While the city council has a right to keep its meetings on topic and moving forward, it cannot sacrifice political speech to a formula of civility. Do you know what that means, city attorney? That means all of the trickeration that you're attempting to do is in violation of the First Amendment and our rights. We stand before you today to say this composition doesn't work for our community. We're saying we know Paula Madison is no longer up there because she began to venture off from the culture, the decisive culture of boosterism for the police department. We're here today to say we want one of our own to sit up there and to disrupt your culture of forgetfulness. We want Akila Sherrills to take one of those seats, to represent the voice of the people, to put you, Soboroff, in check and balance, and to put you, Chief Beck, who applauds Daryl Gates as your mentor.
Next.
Off the police force. Thank you.
How you doing, Chief Beck? Glad to see you off vacation. Should have stayed there. Soboroff, you taking yours next, or when can we expect you to take a permanent leave? Because your disrespect that you've shown in this meeting and other meetings is very intolerable. We come here every day on behalf of people who have died, on behalf of the people, of the families of those who have died in Los Angeles by the police department, and you laugh in our faces. You won't listen to us. You won't look us in our eyes. He goes on vacation while this is all going on, and it's just disrespectful. And we don't need people on this commission who are not going to take the public comment seriously. This is the public trying to tell you that you're doing something wrong. And I know on my job, when my boss comes to me and says, "Hey, you're doing this wrong. You need to fix it," I better fix it. And I know if I don't, I get fired. That's why I'm looking at you. Because you need to be fired. I'm also looking at you because you need to be fired. You need to be removed. We don't need people on this commission who are going to take our comments lax and be very disrespectful when people are trying to speak, telling people to get on topic and things like that. Why do you care what they're talking about? Just listen. That's what you're paid to do. That's what you're up here to do. I don't understand why you're being so hostile towards us, except for the fact that you have some kind of hate for us that only goes back to your ancestors. You know, you're very disrespectful. You're very condescending. And I don't care if you don't want to hear what we have to say, but give us some respect and listen to what we have to say. And I'm talking to you, T-Fank. Get rid of him. I know you don't like him. I know you don't.
Your time's up.
Work on getting rid of him.
As a concerned citizen of this lovely and dark city, I wanted to just say that me as a citizen have the right to have civic engagements with all of you, but at the same time, you don't have no slight idea that you guys are basically at risk of scrutiny and of course you're humiliating yourself by showing that you care, but you don't. I mean, you're being basically disrespectful among us Angelinos. But to move forward, I have like 3 things I like to mention in this matter. For one is, since I'm a LA citizen, why the LAPD are so brutal among people of color and homeless people. Why is that? Why is that? Is there a need for it? No, there's no need for it. I mean, you protect the citizens, but yet you protect private property, of course, but you must not destroy the dignity of working people such as I. And another thing I want to mention, body cameras. What is the point of you using body cameras if majority of times the footage are caught by cell phones, you know, among citizens of Los Angeles? I mean, what is the point of body cameras? If we could tape LAPD's misconduct with our phones, I mean, what is the point of that? And my last thing is, what is this whole thing about militarization, for example, drones? What is the point of having devices float through the air, you know, trying to see whatever that takes place in this lovely city, surveilling us like it's nothing? I mean, come on, I mean, that's not gonna work. I mean, the point is that you guys honestly need to find another job, including you, Jeff Beck, and definitely you guys need to quit, right? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Daniel. I'm part of the Liberty Club and college campus. Know your damn business. But anyways, we came a long ways for us to build a constitutional for the people and to make it right. And you guys see that flag right there, the California bear flag? That bear represents brutality of people killing a lot of bears in California because they were always going into people's garbage and all that, and you guys killed all that bears. And it's kind of like how Black Lives Matters and all the people in LA, cause but anyways, that's another story. His name was Monarch, by the way. If you guys don't know who the California bear name was, his name was Monarch. But anyways, I can't really speak right now because you guys are all piece of shit, and you guys don't follow the Constitution. You guys gave Redelda Jones not the right to habeas corpus, which means you should have the body in court. You guys just don't recognize the fact that people's lives do matter and all that, and that's all I gotta say.
Next.
Okay, all right, at the First Amendment, we got a Cohen versus California in 1971, which Cohen was wearing an anti-Vietnam shirt saying, fuck the draft, and you guys arrested him for having it in court, like saying fuck the draft, but the Supreme Court allowed that to be First Amendment right, and they withdrew the case, and he didn't get sued for representing the First Amendment. And you guys are violating the First Amendment as you guys don't want us to speak up. And I gotta go.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Pastor Q, Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the Church Without Walls, Skid Row. There's a song, one of my favorite songs, by an artist named Peter Tosh. And him say, everybody's talking about crime, but tell me, who are the criminals? And when we grow up in our communities, that's an important question. Because just like when we're trying to express what's going on in our community through our pain, someone is putting new rules in place so that they can make us criminals. There's always a new rule to follow. If you wear your pants below your waist, he said, make up a new rule so black folks can't walk around with their pants hanging down. And what that creates is the prison industrial complex. So we can dismantle this thing from beginning at the beginning. But in our communities, this room is a microcosm of what's going on in our community. Enforcement at the exterior. Enforcement at the exterior to catch the criminals. But who are the criminals? those who put systems in place that we can't get the resources that we need in our community. The police commission should be advocating for resources that would help officers as well as people in the community. But I should say it the other way around. People in the community as well as officers. A police officer got brutally murdered. And the chief said it was the Black Lives Matter rhetoric. Saying Black Lives Matter is rhetoric? Are you kidding me? Is that the way you guys think?
Next.
Black Lives Matter because they were always considered their lives
Next.
didn't matter.
Next.
That's
So who
why
Hamid Khan.
always
Hamid Khan and the final 7 speakers, Beth Baker, Tia Oso, Akila Sherrills, Funmilola Fagbamila Williams, Alejandra Marchevsky, and General Jeff.
Hey, no, I put a card in. You have not called my name. Stop fucking playing with me. They know what they doing. Y'all know what y'all doing.
Did you put a card in?
Take me today.
What is your name, ma'am?
Jasmine Richards. You know my name.
I don't have a card for you.
I gave it. You. Where my card?
Let us check, okay? We'll check it. Let us check it. Go ahead.
Can you start the clock again, please? Because I haven't started speaking. Start the clock again.
Yeah, once it's quiet. I can't hear you.
All right, thank you. Well, Hamid Khan with Stop LAPD Spying Coalition, and I mean it's almost like it's pretty pathetic as to what is going on. This is people finally speaking out. But I think the question here is that you can reschedule this whole process of us silencing us, but we don't reschedule ourselves. We have sent you letters, we've sent you documents, we've checked all these boxes over there. We've sent you 8-page letters, we've sent you 45-page reports, we've asked you to hold public hearings, but you've been completely disdainful and shameful about that. And then you come back that you're going to want to try to police our speech, you want to police our manners, you want to police our emotions, you want to police our expressions. But you know what? We've followed the rules as well. We've followed the rules.
I can't hear you.
We would follow the rules. I know you can't hear. I know you can't
No, I
hear.
can't hear you.
You can't, of course you can't hear me, because that's what you do. You have been disdainful towards the community. You've dismissed our concerns. As of yesterday, 778 people have been murdered by law enforcement in the country. Do you know which city leads the country? Los Angeles. And when you do the math, that's 7 hours and 31 minutes. Every 7 hours and 31 minutes, somebody is being murdered by law enforcement in the United States. And LA leads the city. LA leads the pack. North Dakota just passed a law that their police drones will have non-lethal weapons, including drones, rubber bullets, tear gas, and other forms of non-lethal weapons. So here we are, one of the most highly militarized law enforcement agencies which operates like a counterinsurgency force, backed up by a massive architecture of surveillance, and your response is to an 8-page letter, come and speak for 2 minutes in your public comment. We send you another letter, hold public hearings because this department sabotaged the consent decree. Your response is, no public hearings are needed. We send you a 45-page report because the community wants to speak about body cameras. No, that's a foregone conclusion. We're not going to listen to anybody about that. Only policy because it's foregone.
Next, please.
This is not going to continue. We have checked the boxes. Now, it's our boxes.
Did you find your card?
It's our boxes.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I apologize, Ms. Richards. I did find.
I'm going, Steve.
And the other, are you all willing,
I'm
because
going,
she's going in
Steve.
front of you,
Of
it's
course, I
okay?
want-
Okay, go ahead.
Start my clock.
No, I just want to make sure that
Started.
it's okay with them for you to
Steve,
butt in front of them
we
all.
check in with each other. We love each other, so we don't disrespect
Okay.
each other. That's your department.
No, they're all letting you speak
right?
in front of them.
All right. Shh. All right. Chief Beck, I just want to say you a sorry ass motherfucker. Everybody is mad about the changes you all are doing. I'm actually happy because you dumb fucks are doing our jobs for us. You're trying to stifle our voices. You are showing the public that you are a racist fascist. You also showed me that our voices are powerful. You showed me that you are a coward and you are non-verbally are admitting guilt. You showed me that we are wearing you motherfuckers down. Decorum, we know that you have no decorum nor respect for black lives because the head of this mafia, Mr. Wrinkles, made a video thanking the murderer cops. You have no value of life. My brother was murdered. You are a sorry motherfucker. You have made a huge statement that black lives have no value in your eyes, despite everything you use in modern technology was 9 times out of 10 made by a black person. Riddell Jones shot in the back. Ezell Ford shot in the back. What are y'all scared of? I know. Y'all know that once we rise up, we got the power. You know that even with your guns, those won't work once we decide to fight back. So this is to you, Chief Beck. What the fuck are you gonna do? Because we the ones that ran the mayor out the back door. And I'm gonna come to your house next and run you out your house. You think it's a game? You think it's a joke? I'm not playing with you. Look me in my eyes, because I've been staring at you the whole time. You have not been looking at me. I just want you to know that this little black sister right here is not afraid of you, motherfucker. And I'm ready. Are you? Make another video like that again, and we come into your house. I'm knocking on your door, and I'm talking to your wife. And I'm going to camp out, so bring me some coffee. All right? All right? I'm going to still stay here. I'm going to just have this. I'm going to just look at you like this, because you mad. You mad? You need some Botox. I'm going to just look at you, because I got the power. I'm taking away your power. It's eliminated. That badge ain't shit.
Next.
Soboroff, shut up.
My name is Beth Baker, and I'm here to say that I'm just ashamed of you all. I'm ashamed of you all for supporting a fascist social order. I'd like to address Chief Charlie Beck, the murderer-in-chief. Yes, because he is overseeing a police department that has since 2004 killed an average of 1 black or Latino person a week. So I would like us to take a moment to think about the person you're going to kill this week. I would like you to think about the death that's going to occur and the blood that is on your hands. No, they don't. No, they don't care. That blood is on your hands. And we all know it, and you should know it too. And I like to say that you are our employees. We pay your salary. And we're here to tell you that you are fired. You aren't doing your job, which is to protect public safety. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. And your job is to protect everyone's life. And you have failed miserably. And it's time for you to step down. You are fired. You should be ashamed of yourself. I want you to really take responsibility for yourselves, for your killer cops who just get reassigned after murdering innocent people, after shooting people in the back. They're cowards. They hide behind their badges and guns, and they're cowards because they kill innocent people. They kill people who are mentally challenged. They kill the homeless. They kill people who are emotionally distraught. Instead of working with community members for real social justice, they're just shameless, cowardly murderers. And they don't deserve their jobs and salaries. And you don't deserve your jobs and salaries, and you don't deserve your seats up there in front of the public because you're irresponsible.
Next.
I just wanted to follow up on what the young woman was just saying about you work for us. We pay your salaries. But yet, we're seemingly to be spending, every 5 to 7 years, $100 million on LAPD lawsuits. And, my concern is that why do I have to pay for the mistakes, of some of the officers, of what they're, why do I got to pay for their mistakes? It's $100 million out of my pocket. So we got to do something about closing that gap. That something needs to happen. There needs to be an audit. There needs to be something that happens to close that gap so that we take the burden and the pressure off of the public for the mistakes that these officers are making. And so I want to say something specifically to the officers as well. That your union, our commission, is putting you in harm's way. When you don't get an opportunity to get the proper counseling, the therapy and healing modalities that you need in order to function while you're out there in the streets, they're putting you in harm's way. Now, it's an administrative function within the department. You're engaged in some type of violent act, you shoot somebody, somebody shoots at you, what happens? You call 1-800-COP, you go to some descript call to get some counseling or therapy or something. But if you voice it in the department, they call you weak. You get degunned. They desk you. You got to speak up on your own behalf as well. And finally, I'll just close with that 10 consecutive years in a row of decreases in violent crime and murder in the city. And I credit the interventionists, you know, those community folks with that work. But LA also has had the highest law enforcement murder rate in the country. It's like there's something wrong with that. We got to get more community-based folks
Thank you, sir. Next.
involved with public safety.
Hi, good morning. My name's Tia Oso. I'm here with the Black Lives Matter movement as well as Black Alliance for Just Immigration. I'm very concerned about the idea that the police commission that is appointed to represent the needs of the people and civilians is making moves to try to repress and silence the voice of the community. It doesn't make any sense at all whatsoever. These communities are under attack. Our communities are hurting, especially in Black and brown communities. I also want to lift up the name of Charlie Lindu Kaneng, undocumented Cameroonian immigrant that was killed by LAPD, resident of Skid Row. His family was not notified for weeks after the killing and had no idea that such an atrocity could take place in the United States of America. Let me just lift that up. We know better, right? But I just wanted to just really implore the commission to take responsibility for facilitating more ways that the community's voices can be heard, that the concerns be addressed. I've heard people call for public hearings. I've heard people feel that their voices and their concerns are not being acknowledged. And then the idea that in the name of civility or decorum that you want to try to police and silence and repress people's voices when our lives are being violated in the street with zero respect for our human dignity and rights is an absolute misuse of your time and the purpose for which you were appointed to this commission in the first place. And so I think what really needs to happen is instead of drawing lines and acting as though, you know, we're all on different sides of an issue, we need to talk to and look at the integrity of what public safety is about, the integrity of whether or not you're living up to your motto, whether you are supposed to be protecting and serving. Our communities do not feel protected. Our communities do not feel like we're being served. Our communities do not feel like we are safe. We've said several times today that these are public dollars, public funds that the city is using, and our communities are being killed and violated and destroyed. So if there's anything that needs to be looked at, that is what I would suggest that you do. Thank you.
Hey, good morning, y'all. Y'all know who I am. I'm Terrell Williams, the person I was shot in the back by the LAPD. Yeah, just like y'all shot Radell Jones, Ezel Ford, and my boy Damon Jackson, which y'all still ain't gave any information on, that y'all killed last year around the same time as Ezel Ford. Where are you guys hiding? Why? Mr. Alexander Bustamante, the Inspector General, you supposed to be, what, the investigator, right? This stuff is happening, but you guys are so secretive. Y'all trying to keep everything under the cover, right? So y'all can make yourself look good or whatever. We got people getting killed on camera. Y'all got cameras now, right? Y'all say y'all put these news cameras out on Monday. We told y'all, I was down there, and I said, you know what, y'all still would have shot me in my back if y'all had a camera. It wouldn't matter. Y'all still shoot people in the back and still get away with it. That's what y'all doing. Y'all drag this stuff out as long as y'all can so you can let your police officer get away with murder. And we tired of it. You know what happened out here. You know what's going on. And I was talking about, is this going to be the new Rampart? Let me know. Let me know, Charlie Beck. That's your home, right? That's where you came from. That's your police station, your home police station. Is this headquarters the new Rampart? Because it's starting to open my eyes. All these people being killed. Ain't no police officers getting arrested, but we know this the number one place where people get killed from law enforcement, police brutality. My friend got killed. We still haven't got. Oh yeah, where's my police report? Y'all still ain't giving me my police report. I want my police report because I know y'all lied on that. I know how y'all manipulate, and I know how y'all, knock off witnesses. I know how y'all get down. Y'all knocking off witnesses, man. I'm tired of it. Where is my witness at? Y'all know I had a witness. Where is my police report? Please give me my information. And y'all know y'all shot me. And I'm gonna get my justice one way or the other. I'm gonna get it.
Next. The three more speakers.
My name is Fumilola Fagbamila, speaking on behalf of Black Lives Matter LA. I actually came here to speak about Riddell Jones, who was a woman who was shot and killed in mid-city Los Angeles in an area known as the Jungles. But I will not speak about Riddell. My dear sister Shamel just briefly broke it down for you all. But this is my first police commissioner meeting that I've attended since I've been in LA, and I've been organizing in LA since I was 18. And I'm going to speak rather on how absolutely disgusting this exchange is. This is disgusting, the level of arrogance and paternalism. You are here to oversee LAPD. We had to engage you, and Melina Abdullah had to tell you to look us in the eye when we're talking to you about these very serious issues. We understand how much Black and brown lives matter. I don't know if you understand exactly what your job is. LAPD is here to protect and serve us. We understand this is not what they do. And we're supposed to have a morally sound commission board to oversee LAPD. How do you have a repressive group of people who can't look in the eyes of who you're supposed to be serving oversee a group of repressive people? It doesn't make sense. This is completely out of order, and that's an understatement. So I actually don't think that I need 2 minutes to say what I needed to say. It's absolutely absurd that I even have to fight back tears. I've been doing this work for years. But I'm fighting back tears because this is disgusting. You need to get it all the way together. Get it in order. You work for us. Understand that. We understand. I don't think you get it.
Next.
My name is Alejandra Marchevsky, and I'm a professor in the Cal State system where I've taught for 15 years. And I have spent the past 15 years talking to hundreds of students, most of them who are Latino and African American, about issues of public safety and law enforcement in their communities. And I'm here to speak for them because they're off working, they're off taking classes. But I feel compelled to speak about what I hear in my classroom, which is that they do not feel that the police are there protecting their communities. They feel targeted by the police. They feel like the police are occupying forces in their communities. And I think that when my students and I look at the work of public oversight over the police, the work of the LA Police Commission in particular, and we see that what you do over and over is rubber stamp the actions of the LAPD, bury the millions of dollars that you're paying out in lawsuits to families whose family members have been murdered by the police, hide cases where the police have shot unarmed civilians in the back, that when they hear about this and they hear about you, right, our public servants rubber stamping police actions, this breeds the worst kind of cynicism in our government. I see young people, I see old people coming through my classroom every semester who have no confidence in our government. No confidence. And you are responsible for that. You are public servants. You are here to set an example for future generations. And the example that you're showing them is that our democracy isn't working.
No, I'm not asleep. I'm on the phone. Between speakers. Go ahead.
General Jeff.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. My name is General Jeff. I'm a Skid Row community activist.
I can't hear you, Jeff.
Hold my time.
You can start over.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is General Jeff. Thank you. My name is General Jeff. I'm a Skid Row community activist. And I want to talk about the laws of nature. Obviously, the laws of nature suggest that the pendulum can only swing one direction for so long before it naturally has to swing the other way. Just this morning, a Chicago police officer was shot, and there's an ongoing manhunt, and 2 of the suspects are white and 1 is black. Take with that what you will, but the laws of nature also apply here in the city of Los Angeles. We want to talk about something from last week because the chief wasn't here. He was on vacation. And so there was someone that during public comment that mentioned that they were in fear in terms of being intimidated by a lot of officers that naturally have put their hands on their guns as an intimidation tactic. And then I also replied by saying there are those of us that also know that that is a matter of position of fear because officers are in fear of their guns being taken, in fear of being attacked. And so, that's from a cowardice standpoint. That is not a position of strength. Also, when I look across this table right here, I see nobody black in any of these leadership positions, but yet I do see 2 empty seats. And today what that represents is the black male and the black woman that are non-existent at any and all decision-making discussions involve our people. And that needs to change. Akila Sherrills for the future LA Police Commissioner, and rest in peace, Brother Dion. Black Lives Matter.
This concludes our public comment period. We're now on item number 7, closed session items. The Board of Police Commissioners will now recess into closed session to discuss item numbers 7A1 and 2 in accordance with Government Code 54957. We're back in open session. In closed session, item number 10A1 was discussed, and the chief's, I need to start over, I'm sorry. Back in 10. Okay, we're ready in 10. Item number 10A1 was continued. In closed session, excuse me. I have to start over, it's item number 7. Item number 7A1 was continued. In closed session, item number 7A2 was discussed, and the chief's recommendations were adopted as amended. Mr. President, is there a motion for adjournment?
Second? All in favor?
Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, guys.
I get used to the new numbering. I keep saying 10.